A thoughtful gift for those you care about. Instead of buying a gift, perhaps you'd rather do something that shows how much you care. Help family and friends be better prepared in case of an emergency. If we were to have a large disaster, the phone system would quickly be overwhelmed and wouldn't be able to handle the volume of calls. It happens all over the world. After a large disaster, texting is usually the best way to contact family and friends. Short, meaningful texts are great. On the screen is a text message that says, OMG, what was that? Are you okay? What do we do now? With lots of question marks. Not a very helpful text. A much more useful text might read like this: I'm okay, walking home from work. We'll stop by school and pick up both kids, 2:35 p.m. Tuesday. Make every text count. Let your family members know where you are, how you are, and what your plan is. And include the date and time in every text in case they don't get delivered right away. But what if your phone was broken during the disaster or your phone's out of power? If you could borrow someone else's phone to text, do you have everyone's phone numbers memorized? How about your kid's school or your neighbors? Here's the gift part. Write down their important phone numbers. At least get them started. Explain that phone lines get jammed after a disaster and that texting is the best way to reach out to family and friends. Explain that having phone numbers written down on paper is a good idea in case you lose your phone or it breaks in the disaster, or you're so rattled that you can't remember phone numbers. Everyone's contact list will be a little different, but this is a good start. A 3x5 card is really useful for this, or just a piece of paper. These are the numbers we wrote down for our family. Phone numbers for family members, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many you have. The school's phone number, landlord and employer. Neighbors. These are folks we've gotten to know over time. We have their phone numbers. If we needed someone to check on a pet at home, or maybe an elderly parent that's visiting with us, these are the people we would call, our next door neighbors. We have a pet sitter's phone number listed. We have a friend on the walk home, halfway between work and home, a place where we might be able to get a bottle of water, or maybe spend the night if the walk home is super long. We also have written down how to listen to Cairo radio. The Cairo radio station has special plans. Como radio might be broadcasting as well at 1000 AM. And the last phone number we have written on our 3x5 cards is an out of town contact person. And let me explain what this is. Sometimes it's easier to get a text out of the city and back into the city than across the city. That's where your out of town contact person comes in. They relay messages in between household members. So when you text after a disaster, remember to make it a very smart, meaningful text, include the date and time, and send it to all of the family members you're trying to get a hold of, including your out of town contact person. Your out of town contact person should know, because you've spoken to them about this, to take that text message and forward it down to all the people on the ground that might be involved in the same disaster as you. They don't need to change the text message, they just need to forward it down. Because again, sometimes it's easier to get a text into or out of the city than it is across the city. You want this person, your out of town contact person, to live in Spokane, Washington, or further east. Not Portland, Oregon, not Bellingham, Washington, not on the West Coast, because they might be involved in the same disaster. Spokane, Washington, or further east. Besides relaying text messages between household members, give them a to-do list. Give them the name and phone numbers of special people you'd like for them to call. They can also post on social media for you and let everyone that checks on you via social media know that they've heard from you and that you're okay. So remember, write down important phone numbers. Get your loved ones started doing this. Everyone's list will look different, but get them started. A plastic bag is a really good way to keep this list clean and readable and safe. Make them multiple lists, because ideally they would put these lists With all of the backpack, desk drawer, glove box, commuter bag, bike bag that they might have with them after a disaster, there should be a copy of these phone numbers with them. Thank you.